Welcome to a new daily top AskReddit video. Today's topic:
what early internet website did Gen Z really miss out on? All the old Macromedia shockwave Flash sites before Adobe bought Flash and it became the internet's favorite malware vector. AddictingGames.com. Addicting Games and Miniclip were basically the only two reasons I ever went on a computer for a long time. Homestar Runner. It's the year of our Lord 2002. You and your friends all just smoke the lowest quality weed sold on the streets out of a piece your friend made in wood shop. Load up strong bad emails and laugh for hours. Newgrounds. Eborm's World Red Heart. Newgrounds is especially nostalgic for me because it represents an era of the internet where most all content was a labor of love. People just made things and put them out there for people to enjoy, more often just shit on. Some internet things are eternal. Creators made art for fun, or for adulation, and when a bunch of jaded disgruntled teenagers gave something acclaim, it tended to be rare and well earned. I think it's great we have things like Etsy, where people can get paid for labors of love they wouldn't have a generation ago. But something about the way all media content is now inextricably tied in with money, corporations, and profit, it seems bleak. It's also a whiplash cultural difference from being a teenager a few decades ago. Selling out, or being a poser, were crimes against coolness. Now everything is building one's brand. Edit. Alright guys, I get it. Apparently I was unaware Etsy is a Chinese supermarket in a Scooby-Doo mask. When people did stuff for fun and because it was cool, not to make money. Basically, when the internet felt like it was mostly people, not mostly companies. Brought a tear to me eye. It was a beautiful time. Now, time to blast chocolate rain for nostalgia. Some stay dry and others feel the pain. Stumble upon. That's how I found Reddit. Forums in general were great community spaces that you just don't get on Reddit or Facebook groups. Forums are sorely missed. The experience of checking in with a community after getting home from school, work and catching up on all of the recently posted in threads was great, and a lot more manageable than a Discord channel that moves at 900 miles per hour where conversations get buried in a millisecond. Not to mention enthusiast forums dedicated to niche subjects with years of knowledge that you could search and come across on Google. I'm great friends with some people I met on a forum many years ago. It's no longer around, but it was a blast and was kind of like a small town, a good amount of people, but everyone knew everyone even if it wasn't personally. The good old days of sitting there with Firefox open, AIM in the background and watching ad-free YouTube. RIP. I used to spend so much time in forums. The amount of knowledge wiped off the internet with forums dying is staggering. I still find the odd 20-year-old forum post that helps me fix my car. Just, sort of, the concept of websites. Yes, we obviously have them today, but everything is just extremely condensed in terms of traffic. Everyone's on Google, Amazon, and Reddit. It used to be that you actually had fun, surfing, the web. Yeah, I just now at this instant realized this isn't really a term anymore, finding nifty different sites, telling your friends of your findings and adventures, etc. Not too early web, but stumble upon was big for that. I think this condensation started with Facebook. A friend and I had a realization at one point that we didn't really use websites anymore, but that even websites for companies or ideas or whatnot were just Facebook pages. Since then Facebook is now not as popular, but the point remains. Websites would have a link page that linked to websites of similar interests or friends or the website. It was a great way to surf the web and discover new things. It really was like a web of connections back then. I was gonna comment asking if anyone remembered web rings, where you went from one site to the next in the same genre. Eborm's World, Albino Black Sheep, Newgrounds, Homestar Runner, and Zanga were where I spent a good chunk of my early teens. Homestarrunner.net. It's .com. LimeWire virus initiation. Mom, the PC is speaking Russian again. Quote, hello, I'm Bonzi Buddy. Yahoo answers, I'm 13 years old. Am I pregnant? Quote, Danger Ops. PRANGENT sex. One, will it hurt babby top of his head? Question mark. Pregan Anand. Always cracks me up. Can you down a 20-foot water slide pregnant? Can you get pregante? How is babby formed? My wife and I still say, I am sorry for your lots, to each other regularly when we are sarcastically feigning sympathy for each other. What is a Luigi board? Crack.com. So much great content back in the day. The quality drop-off was steep, too. It felt like one day everything was great and hilarious, a week later I could not summon up a single crumb of interest in anything on the front page. It got bought, they pivoted to video, and all the cool people left. Now they're all on Cool Zone podcasts. YouTube pre-ads. A magical time. The grainy, homemade videos of people figuring things out will be a form of democratized media we'll never see again. I miss the innocence of people just posting unedited whatever, and seeing if a few people find it, watch it. Neopets and Homestar Runner. Those were such a vibe back in the day. Came here to say Neopets. It's still around, but not nearly as popular as it used to be, I think. Is the giant omelette still there? That kept my pet from starving so many times. Wait, Neopets is still kicking. The prime of MySpace.com. MySpace Top 8 is the true beginning of the internet's toxicity. That's when you knew it was over between you and Sarah Sadface. A bunch of kids learning basic HTML just to customize their homepages was truly something. Hamster Dance. https://www.webhamster.com/. You know, I try not to get too into "we were different back then" stuff, but having just watched that for the first time in 20 years, it's possible that we were more easily entertained back then. Cat, I'm a kitty cat. And I dance 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 and I dance dance dance. The original addictinggames.com. Edited for spelling lol. It took my middle school a long time to put that on the ban list, had that shit from like 4th to 8th grade. ThinkGeek.com. They used to have the coolest shit ever. I remember I skipped school once because I had a ThinkGeek delivery coming. After it arrived I went to school and everyone was outside because the school had caught fire. Suri nice alibi. Then GameStop came in and ruined it all. Yup. I'll die mad about it. Implying it wasn't already ruined when GameStop bought them. By that point it was mostly pop culture and video game garbage anyway. They peaked in the early, mid-2000s. Board.com. YTMND. Flash games. How easy it truly was back in the day to download music, TV, movies through Napster or Kazaa Lite. Absolutely YTMND. There's probably a few Gen Zers that caught the tail end of it maybe, but that site was a wild gold mine. I lived off YTMND in college. Guy Online, even though it still exists today. DeviantArt too, total shells of what they were. DeviantArt is so depressing. I was there when it launched. So many beautiful pieces of digital art, and a vibrant user base. Now it's all AI smut. DeskMod was the top dog for customization, though. Not so much a specific site, but the fact that the early internet, talking 1990s here, was a high-trust society. The only people online were university students and relatively well-off people who were genuinely interested in this new technology. So you could meet people on a random IRC channel or Telnet talker or whatever, and within days or hours you may have swapped real-life phone numbers and addresses with them so you could send each other cool stuff in the mail. I got so many cool packages from various overseas countries back in the day and made genuine friendships online in a way that you just couldn't do today. It wasn't filled with scammers and the like. You could safely give your actual street address to someone you'd only talked to for a week, especially if they were on a different continent, like what are they gonna do? Incidentally, I met my wife this way. We were online friends for a while, living on opposite sides of the planet. We sent each other presents in the mail, etc. Eventually in the late 90s decided to pay the thousands of dollars to fly to meet in person, and the rest is history. Back then, relationships that started online were super rare, but now I think the majority do, thanks to dating sites and the like. There is a band I follow that is now quite famous in its genre. When it was B-level famous they had a website to sell their albums. The way you bought them, as per the website directions, was to put cash in a birthday card and send it to one of their mothers. So yeah, they posted their mother's full name, address and phone number on the internet. I am positive I still have it in an address book somewhere. I met my husband on a primitive dating site in 1998. I felt completely safe because you're right, only safe people were on the internet back then. We didn't have photo sharing ability, so it was all the written word and you had to be pretty good at writing to get anywhere with anyone. I was initially just goofing around, but ended up moving from one coast to the other to be with him. It was a magical time. ICQ. Oh. I can Huskiesburger. I miss LimeWire so goddamn much. Little 12-year-old me telling mum, "Yeah, don't worry, I can get us Pirates of the Caribbean for free, gimme an hour, quick search and download, even checked the file type this time." Then it turned out to be porn of women with dicks dressed as pirates having sex on boats. All memories. One time I tried to download a pirated copy of Grand Theft Auto 3, and it turned out to be a copy of Grand Theft Auto 2 plus a copy of 1978 porn film Debbie Does Dallas. Sounds like you had a pretty great night. Habbo Hotel. Pools closed, due to AIDS. Me being a non-premium user with no credits and grinding my ass off for hours trying to win Falling Fernie games to get Fernie for my room. Bobber. The separation of Google and Frugal. If I wanted to search for things and info, use Google. If I wanted to search for products to buy, use Frugal. Now the top hits on Google are all just things for sale. Google feels like a storefront for mass advertising now, rather than a useful search engine. Home Star Runner. It's still up and running, nothing is stopping kids nowadays from going and looking at it, but I've never met anyone born in 2000 or after who has ever even heard of it. Oh, the excitement when a new Strongbad email or Teen Girl Squad arrived. Cheerleader, so-and-so, what's her face? The ugly one! Exclamation mark. Not even a website, but Usenet. Back when it wasn't just porn and piracy, but the closest thing to this place. Back in the early days, a high proportion of users were college students or worked in high-tech industries. I remember when in some place like alt.rec, cars people were discussing gas additives, you had people actually test driving with different additives, quantitatively measuring carbon deposits on their plugs, and reporting the results. Techron came out as the best at the time. That was the norm in many groups. The early 90s were what we thought the internet was going to be. That and Neuromancer, Cyberpunk. Thanks Google.